welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin, and this is going to be a walkthrough of the Andy and the Circus book study guide. This is a resource that I created along with a couple other book study guides. You can purchase it as a standalone product in my Teachers Pay Teachers shop, or you can get it as a bundle, and then you'll be able to do a couple of book studies with your kids throughout this school year. So if you've come here from Teachers Pay Teachers, hopefully this will give you a good idea of what the product is. And if you are a subscriber or just a friend who likes to hang out with me, then welcome. Let me show you what I've created. If you are new to the book study guide world, let me tell you a little bit about what a book study guide is from my perspective and how I've created it. My idea of a book study guide is that it's an opportunity for you to do some cross-curricular teaching based on the subject of any given book. Sometimes it can be done with a picture book like Andy and the Circus, or it can be done from a chapter book, which I have a few of those resources in my Teachers Pay Teachers shop as well, if you want to go check those out. This particular study guide comes with 9 different activities. Some of them are going to cover language arts, history, science, writing, which is a part of language arts, and then an art project at the end. So I'm just going to review kind of what you get when you purchase this resource and how I used it in my classroom so you can get an idea if it's something that you want to do, or of course, if you've already purchased it, how you can use this resource. So let's just jump right in. You're going to receive a couple of things when you purchase this product. It is one PDF download, but it kind of has 3 parts to it. The first part you're going to get is the actual teacher's manual. Now, this particular study guide, along with all of my study guides, are intended to be very versatile and flexible. You can choose and pick and kind of maneuver the activities however you want, leave some out, or maybe find some additional resources and build upon what I have provided. So when you look at this guide, I want you to look at it as a springboard, so to speak, of what you can do, and then anything that you want to add to it, then you're welcome to. And of course, everything that you want to take out of it, you can do that too, okay? So this is the cover that you're going to get. The first couple of pages in the download are just how to get started with a book study guide if you've never done it before. It's going to explain you need to get a notebook. Here's a couple of notebook options that you can have. It's going to talk about, I can't even remember what else it's going to say, but you'll get a couple of here's how you do it in case you've never done it before, okay? Then you're going to get the teacher's guide. The teacher's guide has this section here that will list all of the activities that are in this book study. So you can see here that we have 4 that are going to be part of language arts, 2 histories, 1 science, another writing assignment, and then an art assignment at the end. All of the teachers, whatever, like the lesson plan is going to look like this. I have an introduction section, and that is where you can introduce the idea or the teaching, whatever concept to your kiddos. And sometimes I'll have an example or an idea or an extension that you can kind of do to introduce that activity. Okay. The second part here is going to be the create the notebook pages. And it's just a quick, introduction or instructions on how you can actually create those pages and paste them into your book. And then the last one is going to be reflect on learning. This is an extension activity that you can do. Of course, it's optional. Sometimes it includes a game or something that you can do, or just another conversation that you can have with your kiddos. Okay, conveniently, I'm already on this page. All of my book study guides are going to have a mini unit because, again, I love the cross-curricular teaching that you can get out of one book. And Andy and the Circus talks a little bit about the Industrial Revolution, as a few of the characters are speaking to Andy and saying, hey, I can't wait until I can upgrade this ice box that I have into a refrigerator, or upgrade this tractor that I have to a motorized tractor. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a springboard that you can talk about the Industrial Revolution with your kids. So the second section that you're going to get in your download is these teaching resources, or this non-fictional text resources that you can use as a part of your teaching. So I've written this really simplified, textbook, I guess you could call it, It's like 4 pages, and it just kind of covers a few of the things for the Industrial Revolution. It talks about living conditions, it talks about inventions, it talks about what was the Industrial Revolution and how were children a part of the Industrial Revolution and children's working conditions, because of course we're teaching kids, so it's kind of fun to show them, look at how different the lives were of these kids during this age of time based on how they are today. So this is a guide that you're going to get. And then in addition to that, you're going to get 3 biography pages. One of them is Henry Ford. This has to do with the Industrial Revolution. So when I taught it to my kids, this was a part of the Industrial Revolution study, because Henry Ford, of course, was instrumental in the assembly line and the start of mass producing vehicles, which of course affected us wildly today. I also have a biography for P.T. Barnum. He, of course, is known for starting the circus. And since the book is called, I haven't even shown you the book, Andy and the Circus. It is about the circus, and Andy, of course, goes to join the circus, so you can learn a little bit about P.T. Barnum. There's also a circus poster at the very beginning of the book, and it is for Barnum and Bailey's Circus. So that P.T. Barnum is in there. And then this is just kind of a fun addition. This is for Annie, I always say her last name wrong, Londonderry. And she is the first female to bike around the world. Now, that's a loose term because she didn't exactly bike the entire country. However, she did go on this full campaign to bike across the world as a part of women's rights and the liberation movement for women and kind of getting out there. So it's just a fun little story. And there is another book that you can get that kind of goes along with it. I should have brought it and grabbed it over here, but it's called Pedal, Balance, Steer. And it's the story of Annie Londonderry. Okay. And then the last thing that you're going to get is going to be the actual student workbook pages. And when you print those out, of course, they'll be on 8.5 and by 11 sheets of paper, but you're going to be able to cut those out and create kind of like an interactive notebook kind of a situation with your kids. And so they just kind of have little doors and the instructions are all on the page, but you create these fun little activities that go along with the story. If you look on my Instagram account, I have a highlight for Andy and the Circus. So go to my Instagram account and look for that highlight, and you can see exactly how I use this resource in my classroom and kind of how we broke it up and how we went about doing it, okay? Anyway, so these are just some examples. Of course, it's a circus theme, so that's why we have the clown and the little juggling balls. I wanted to stop for just a minute at this page because this is the figurative language lesson that you can teach, and it also comes with these little flashcards where you can give some examples of idioms with your kids. You can either print them out the way that I did, where they're back to back and they're kind of like flashcards, or when you print it, you can just print them single-sided, and then you can turn it into kind of a matching guessing game with your kids as they try to guess what the idiom actually means. So, for example, when pigs fly, hit the nail on the head, bite the bullet, or break the ice are a couple of the idiom examples that I have for Andy and the Circus. Okay? I'll show you really quickly here too. This is I'm going to show you a couple more things. But anyway, this is the pages for the biographies. So you can see that each of them is going to be a little door. We haven't done this at the time of this filming. I haven't quite done this page with my kids yet, but you're just going to it's a very brief introduction. It's important to note that the mini unit is in fact a miniature introduction or extension, if you've already talked about it in your classroom, to the Industrial Revolution. It is by no means intended to be a full curriculum about the Industrial Revolution. So if you've already talked about it with your students before, then this will be a great reminder. If you've never talked about it before, then this will be a fun introduction to a future unit or a future study of the Industrial Revolution. Okay? The last thing that I want to show you. These are how the pages are going to be printed out. As you can see, they're, just 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. And the last activity, which I haven't cut out yet until I film this video, is to show you the watermelon science lab. So in the story, Andy is given a watermelon by his mom to put in his basket as he rides back to the circus. And so you get a little tiny introduction, or a little glimpse, I guess, of a watermelon in the story. So then you can do a watermelon science project to talk about, well, what would it have been like for Andy to carry this watermelon in a basket? And so this is just an example of using the scientific method and how you can guess how many stripes, how many seeds, how much does it weigh, how tall is it? And then you can use this and put it either in a science journal, or if you put it in your interactive notebook, and you can turn these into doors if you want to. But there's a couple of pages here. I have not put it in my folder because it's going to be actually a part of our science. So the last page that you're going to get, which you may or may not put into your actual notebook, I do mine on the outside, but this is a planner page that you can use for your writing project. This is a persuasive essay that your kids are going to be invited to write to persuade the reader, their parents, or whomever is reading their letter, to persuade them that they want to go join the circus, or why their family should not go to the circus. So they can choose the position that they want to be on, and then they can write a persuasive essay. This is just an option to help your kids kind of plan out their thoughts if writing persuasive essays is new to them. And if it's not, then of course it'll just help them organize their thoughts before they go to write. A couple of frequently asked questions when it comes to book studies. These are just general questions. Number one is always, what age group is best for book studies? I actually gear my book studies for my kiddos. They're 2nd grade, 4th grade, and 7th grade. Now, my 7th grader only does bits and pieces of particular book studies. For example, in Andy and the Circus, my 7th grader was involved in our study of the Industrial Revolution and the biographies, because I feel like that's great for 7th graders as well. My 2nd grader and my 4th grader did the rest of the book study with me. So I would say that, readers between 1st grade through 5th grade are probably really great to be able to be interactive in the actual book study. But of course, younger kids and older kids can be included in the book study as well. It's very versatile, and you can, level up and have the kids actually read the stories themselves, or level down and have yourself read the story to them and help them pick out all of those fun little tidbits that you're doing with the story. Okay, I will show you really quick. Now, the story does not come with the download. You do need to go out and find a book at whatever book distributor your choice is. But this is the story of Andy and the Circus, and I will just show you, different from a lot of picture books, is there is a lot of text in this book. So I just think that you should plan, as far as like a frequently asked questions, plan between 1 to 2 weeks to actually get through all of the material if you choose to do all of the activities. Because with the Industrial Revolution, depending on how far you want to go with that could take a couple of days. And there's a lot of fun mini units that you could build off of balance, because Andy has to balance on his bike with no hands all the way to the circus with all of these precarious objects that he's carrying for his friends and family. And so you can talk a lot about balance. There's some fun games that you can incorporate. And in the study guide, or in the teacher's manual rather, I have a list of some examples of games that you can play with your kids. Wrong side, here it is. Games about balance that you can play with your kids. I also have a list of books that you can read. I don't have it printed here, do I? Oh yeah, they're right here. Duh. As a part of this extra resources page, I just have a list of some books that have to do with either balance or P.T. Barnum, Henry Ford, or Annie Londonderry. And then I also have anything that has to do with the circus. I don't know if I already said that, but just a couple of examples of other books that you can read. So you can go as deep and as long as you want with one book study. It could last a whole month if you want it to. And that's just the fun and the joy of using a book study for a base to your curriculum. I do it with my daughter as her entire English curriculum. She has a grammar notebook that we also go through, but this is really what we do because it covers handwriting, it covers figurative language, language arts, and then you can dive into, if you do lots of different book studies, I try to choose different figurative language or parts of speech that you can focus on throughout each of the book studies. So hopefully this was a helpful video to kind of dive into what this book study looks like and if it's something that you want to purchase for your friends and family. If you get it as a bundle, you can get up to 4 books. Each of my bundles have 4 books in them, so you can get 4 books as a discount, and it'll plan your lessons for you for the next couple of weeks. So hopefully that helps you. Look in the description box below, and I will put the link to this particular resource as well as the bundle if it's something that you want to look into. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to my channel. I'm always talking about homeschool and all the good things going on our side of the mountain. Thanks so much. We'll catch you in another video.